This tape has been copyrighted. Any duplication or reproduction without written consent is prohibited.
Don't stop doing it too soon. This is what I wanted to talk about, because one of the things I'm seeing, we have a lot of people do very well. A lot of you on the call are making money right now. There's a lot of you, John to George, making 30,000. I mean, Chris making 103,000. There's Greg Gunn making 46 or 7,000. Kevin Zirk. I mean, there's a bunch of you making money on the call and starting to make money. Not that 20,000 or 30,000 is any money, because it isn't. But it's the start of making money. And one of the things that I see people doing in Primerica and in my hierarchy throughout the company, all over, is people stop doing it too soon. And what do I mean by that? They stop hiring directs, field training people, because the ultimate goal in Primerica, in my opinion, is total financial independence. And stopping before attaining this goal is just dumb. I mean, it's just really a dumb move. And I see people doing it over and over and over again. And, I didn't do that. I realized that, this was a shot I had, and I wasn't about to stop hiring and training directs until I got it done. And the truth is, I'm going to share this with you a little more clearly, that I stopped way too soon. And I think that was one of the only real mistake I made in my career. I think I've made some minor little mistakes, but the only significant error in judgment that I've had in my 18, 19, and now I'm going on 19 years in Primerica, was getting out of the field and stopping recruiting directs way too soon. I completely blew it in that area. And so I think people stop too soon because they aren't clear about their ultimate goal, and they don't have a clear purpose. Because there is a difference between a purpose and a goal. A goal would be like getting your $100,000 ring, becoming an SVP, becoming an SNSD, or whatever. A goal has a finite ending. A purpose is something different. A purpose is something that, there's no end to it. There's no possibility of ever having an ending. For example, having a purpose would be, for me, my own purpose is to help people with their, self-images, to help people grow and feel better about themselves. That's one of the that's today and always has been my primary focus in doing Primerica. Well, the reason I've been able to stay focused for so long, and even I'm more focused now than I've been in a long time, to be honest with you. I'm really focused on growing my business, is because money's not what drives me. Money's never been what's driven me. It is, my purpose is to help people with their self-image. And how I do that is through helping people grow. If I can help you grow, become more, improve your confidence level, get better results, it's just automatically it helps your self-image. There's a lot of you on the phone right now that through my prodding or through some of the coaching that I've done, or now the accountability that I've done, you've grown. You're better than you used to be. Chris Howard, Sean Murphy, Greg Gunn. That because I've pushed you, because I've helped you in whatever way, you're doing better. And there's no doubt in my mind that your personal self-image is better today than it was, before we met. Would you agree with that? Is Greg Gunn on the phone right now?
Yes.
Is that true for you, Greg? Do you feel better about Greg Gunn today than you did 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
My confidence level is just totally, and people feel it and people see it. Better, but actually better than I see it.
Well, you know what, and also see, like even that purpose with you, as well as you're doing now, there's no end to how much better you could feel about yourself.
Right.
So even though I've helped you get to this point, you've done the work, but I've helped you get to this point, there's no end. I can be working with you and helping you grow your personal, your self-image and your skill level forever. Right? There's no end for you. I mean, if you're doing what you're doing now, why can't you do double or triple or quadruple or 10 times or 20 times? So the reason I'm saying that, my purpose, what it allows me to do, is stay focused every day, to get up and have a reason to do what I do, as opposed to chasing a dollar or chasing, it's really an amazing thing. So you need to figure out what your purpose is. Why are you doing this? Obviously you have a goal to be financially independent or make the inner circle or whatever. Those are good, and you need to have those. Those are real important. But the most important thing for you to do big things, for you to make huge income, for you to get gigantic in your business, for you to have never-ending growth, you have to have a very clear purpose. A third thing is people lack a clear, concise plan. And I just want to go over, there's 7 things that I think you need to focus on, okay? And we talked about one of them, Eddie just talked about one of the most important one, that is prospecting. And this is what prospecting is, because this is all it is. This is all Eddie's doing right now. This is all people that are doing well in their business, is prospecting. It's the number one most important thing. And let me explain again what prospecting is. It's talking to anyone in any form with the goal of setting an appointment to share how you can help them by recruiting them into your business and helping them with the financial needs analysis. That's all prospecting is. That's all it is. Like this whole thing, this whole program that Eddie went through right now, the purpose of that thing is to talk to somebody. And the goal is to get an appointment to have them come meet with you so you can show them how you can help them by recruiting them into your business. And then, of course, implementing an F&A. That's just a matter of fact that's going to happen. So, 3 hours of prospecting is more important than any one client, any one prospect, any one recruit, any single problem you have. It is simply the single most important thing in your business, period. And if you don't get that across to your, first accept it and know it yourself, and then secondly, get that across to your teammates. If they don't buy into that, if you don't get them to understand that and own that and accept that, you're never going to get people to grow. You're never going to develop people. One of the challenges, you look at your business, why your people aren't growing, they're not developing, I guarantee you their prospecting is anemic. When you see anemic businesses, you see anemic prospecting, okay? The second thing is you got to get great at appointment setting, getting people to meet with you. You got to get really good at that. You need to spend a lot of time teaching people how to get an appointment, because of course, without the appointment, we can't recruit them. We can't get them to do anything. We have to set an appointment. And if you're not teaching that all the time and not focused on that, every time you have a meeting of some sort, you should be talking about how to get appointments, how to prospect. Third thing, you need to have a question and commitment-oriented presentation. So when you start field training these people, that presentation that you're doing has to be commitment-oriented and question-oriented, not just regurgitating a bunch of information and statistics and facts, because that doesn't recruit people. That doesn't get people involved. It's the questions and the commitments that you get that gets people to take action. 4, you got to duplicate by transferring. This is a huge thing right now. I think this is the thing that the biggest thing for all of you on the phone right now, because all of you are RVPs. This is for Eddie right now. This is the biggest thing for you to accomplish those goals that you're trying to accomplish. And that is to duplicate yourself. And how you do that is by transferring the knowledge you've acquired and the skill you've developed over the years you've been involved. Let me repeat that. The key to duplication is your ability to transfer the knowledge you have acquired and the skills you've developed clearly, very, very clearly. Because a lot of times we think we're transferring knowledge and skill, but how we know if we are or we aren't is the response you get, okay? In other words, if people are growing and recruiting people and making money, then we know that the transference of our knowledge and skill is accurate, it's clear. If people are not growing, they're not developing, they're not building teams, they're not getting promoted, then we know that the transference of our knowledge and skill is not clear, okay? So because the meaning of your communication is the response you get regardless of your intention. So as you're communicating with people, how we know what the meaning of your communication is the response you get. So if you're getting the response you're wanting to get, then you know that your communication is clear. If you're not getting the response you want, then you know it's not clear and you need to make adjustments. The 5th thing is you got to field train. It's the best way to clone yourself. If you want to really develop people, you do it through field training. Getting out on the field with a new recruit, showing them how to get results, What I did, how I built my business, really built my business, was through field training, because it allowed me to spend a couple, 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 or 5 or 10 or 15 times with an individual. And through that time spent, I was able to transfer my skill and knowledge, indoctrinate them into a way of thinking, a way of being. I was able to sell them on themselves and their future in the business and how good they could be. I was able to show them I was able to demystify our business and to show them it wasn't that complicated. It was actually pretty doggone easy if your technique is sound and you do things in a certain way. And I was able to get them to like me and trust me and want to help me, That's one of the things, and the only way you can make all that happen is through spending time with people. You're not going to do that just doing a meeting once or twice a week and having them hear you speak from the front of the room. The very best people, you've got to spend time with them. You got to spend a lot of time with them. Of course, 6 is the recruiting. It's just part of the field training. When you're field training, you're recruiting people. That's the whole point of every appointment you have is to recruit somebody. I've got this misnomer that I was just a sales guy, okay? But the truth is, I recruited a lot of people, okay? And when I went on appointments, I never went on appointments trying to make sales. Every appointment I've ever been on, since I went full-time in Primerica, the primary focus of my attention on an appointment was to recruit people, to get them involved in my business, to duplicate me. I was a great salesperson. I never had a problem closing sales. I wasn't worried about closing sales. I was concerned with getting people involved in my business, getting them excited to be involved. And recruiting, let me just tell you what recruiting is. All recruiting is, the way you recruit anybody, ultimately, is you find out what they want. You find out what's important to them. You find out what's the most important thing in their life. You find out, what they would do if money weren't an issue, how would they live differently, what would they do. And once I found out what was important to them, what they wanted in their life, then what I did, and what you do when you recruit somebody, is you show them, you convince them, you get them to believe that they can obtain those things that are important to them through their association with you in getting involved in Primerica. If you can get them to believe that they can get what they want here with you, then they'll get involved. It's that simple, If you can't get them to believe they can get what they want here, or that they're capable of doing it, if there's a potential to get those kinds of results, you're not going to recruit them. That simple. But if you do, you will. That's how you recruit people. And then number 7, you just start over again and just keep going through this process over and over and over until you get financially independent. You need to treat the process like a game. I think one of the things that I think Eddie's doing right now, he's treating this thing like a game. You realize that all the things you have to do you have to only all the things you have to do and endure are only a means to an end. You don't need to take anything personally, and you don't have to make them bigger than they are. All this stuff, like if you're looking at this, maybe if you need to get things going, if things are going great for you and you don't need to do what we just talked about right now, that's fine. But if you have things aren't moving like you like to have them moving, and you're looking at this thing and going, God, it's kind of overwhelming, I got to do all this stuff. Hey, look, this is just a means to an end. It's temporary. You're not going to be doing this for the rest of your life, right? You heard him say he's got a 36-month game plan. You're not going to be doing that for the rest of his life. He's going to do this, get a business built, and he's going to be teaching at some point. So you got to look at this like, okay, I'm willing to go and bust this for the next 36 months, 48 months, 60 months, whatever it takes, and then it's going to be done. It's going to be over with. That's how I looked at it. I looked at it like I had a 60-month game plan. I made a decision that I was going to bust it like nobody's business for 60 months, and then I was going to get financially independent, and then I was going to make a decision from there whether I wanted to keep moving. I made the wrong decision. I should have kept moving, but I didn't. Okay? Work closely with the motivated, all right? Work closely with the top 20%. Everyone else, help them through your meetings. I think, and if you went to Maxwell's and my seminar we did recently, this is one of the most important things in that entire seminar that you had to learn as a leader, is that I am very, very good at identifying who the 20% are. This is how you identify them, okay? These are the motivated people. Number 1, they attend all the meetings. They show up to everything. If they're not attending all the meetings, there's no way I'm working with these people closely, okay? I'm going to work with them through the meetings. If they attend all the meetings, they're really attentive, right? Then I'm going to spend personal time with them. Number 2, they ask questions about how to get better. They're always trying to get better. They're always saying, Hector, how can I do this? I'm having this problem with this. I was trying to set up this appointment and it didn't go well. This is what I said. And they're always asking questions on how they can improve their skills. Number 3, they're coachable. They follow your instructions and recommendations. When you ask them to read something, to master a script, to listen to a tape, to attend a seminar, to whatever. They do it. They just follow your instructions. When I see somebody that does what I tell them to do consistently, I know I have somebody that there's no doubt over some time period I'm going to get them to a very high level of competence. If I have somebody, no matter how talented they are, that they don't listen to me when I tell them to do stuff, I also know there's no way I'm going to help this person, and I'm wasting my time. Number 4, they consistently bring new people to op meetings. They're always bringing new people. They're totally focused on bringing new people to op meetings. Number 5, they get results. They recruit people. They make sales. They're results oriented. They realize that results is the key to everything. So they're always focused on getting results. You know, you look at the very best people, you know, like a Chris Howard, Greg Gunn, or Rick Suzy, Eddie Ayala, you name it, me, all results oriented. Results are everything, you know. We do not mistake activity for results. You got to get checks, you got to get the IBAs, you got to close the business, period. Number 6, they search out information on their own to learn about our services and improve their skills. They're always trying, you know, they master everything. They're like they look at the smart, they go, I gotta get this down. I gotta, you know, what do I need to do to get this down? They look at, and they get their securities license. Man, they call all the mutual funds, they get all these information, they learn how to do that, right? They learn how to do the business. They get really good at everything. They're always searching on information to improve. Number 7, they're accountable. They call you to report their activity and their results consistently. Look, if people aren't willing to be accountable, there's no chance for me to work with them. If you're not going to be accountable to me, I'm not working with you. No way. I want to know what you're doing, because that tells me you're serious. That tells me you're results oriented. That tells me you have you're focused, right? They push you to get better. The best people, they push you, man. They're always pushing you, and that's good. Rick Suzy pushed me. He pushed me to get better. You know, you want people like that. And then 9, they're competitive. They're really competitive. Winning is very important to them. All right. Yesterday I had lunch with Daniel Alonso, right, after our VP meeting. That boy is so damn. He's like beside himself. He's looking at these numbers. You know, the National Leaders Bulletin. Some people recruited 80, 100 people, and it just kills him to not. Because he is like totally focused on getting recruiting going, because he knows he has to do that. And, you know, he's competitive. He wasn't really focused on that. Now he knows he has to be. And because he's competitive, he's going to make the changes he needs to make to get that going, to be competitive. That's what competitive people do. They do whatever it takes, even if it's not comfortable for them. That competitive spirit gets people to do stuff, the nasties, that ordinary people won't do. They got to be competitive. You have people like that, you better be spending a lot of time. Even if you don't like them very much, you should be spending a lot of time with them, teaching them, coaching them, getting them to your same level of competence. Number 6, you know, by working directly with the motivated, you'll not get tired. I mean, in fact, you're going to get energized. You're going to find that you're energized. It's so damn exciting right now. You know, when you work, right now I've got a bunch of really motivated people in my base shop, and it's so much fun working with them. You know, they energize me. I'm not tired. They don't make me tired. It's tiring working with the whiners and the complainers and the people that say, you know, we should do this and we should do that, and, you know, or you should do this, and, you know, forget about them. And then you got those people that just want to get this thing going. Those people are fun to work with. Number 7, be super clear. Teaching exactly what you do to create results. Test people constantly. You got to ensure that they know what you've taught them. Lots and lots of testing. Testing would be things like, you know, when you talk to them on the phone, hey, you know, I'm talking to Chris. I say, Chris, what do you say when somebody says, I want to think it over? What do you say when they say, I'm just too busy? What do you say? Hey, test them. Make sure they got their skill levels down, right? Make sure they know what they're doing. Check their presentation. You'd be surprised. You'd be amazed. You'd be shocked at how bad most of your people are with their presentation, their skills, and their setting appointments. And the worst, the saddest thing about Primerica, our opportunity is so good, you can be inept and still get pretty good results. You could do almost no prospecting and do very little work and still get pretty good results, and con everybody into thinking that you're actually working your business, you know, when you're not. And that's actually a little bit of a challenge for our business. But imagine if you really taught people. Imagine if people really knew what they were doing. Imagine if you did what it took to get people to the same level of confidence that you have. Imagine how much better your business would be you would grow your business by 50, 100, 200, 400, 1,000%. Check the Motivate People skill level one-on-one. Spend time with the really good people. Identify the really, really motivated, that top echelon of people, and sit with them. Spend time with them one-on-one. Check their skill levels. You know, if you spend, because what happens in our business, 95% of the business in our industry, just like in any other industry, gets done by 5% of the people. You need to identify who they are and spend time with them, okay? True duplication is a key to building a great business and having real freedom. If you're going to be really free, the reason I have a lot of freedom today, the reason Chris Howard has a lot more freedom than most of you on the call right now is he has produced, and I have produced, and duplicated ourselves many more times than most of you have, okay? That's the reason. Okay, and then let me just tell you, the next thing is number 11 I have on my list here. The single biggest mistake I made in my career was getting out of the field too soon. No doubt in my mind, major, major mistake. It's never been more clear to me than it is right now. Look, I used to have, in my original code number, I had 25 direct RVPs. I was doing $300,000 to $400,000 a month in premium through First. And you know how many I have today? I have 15 direct RVPs right now. And I'm struggling to barely do $200,000 in premium. So now I need to get wider. And now, see, if I would have stayed in the field, I got out of the field like in around 1990, 91. Right? If I had stayed in the field another 3 or 4 or even 5 years, because I was so good, I really liked it, I had fun doing it. If I had stayed in the field, what happened after I got out of the field? I only produced another 3 or 4 RVPs, and I'm telling you, I was really producing them like clockwork. If I'd have stayed at it a little longer, I would probably have at least 50 direct RVPs today. Right? If I would just stayed in it till I did that, I'd be doing probably $750,000 a month through First right now on my original code number. And I think that cost me, just in really, really conservative numbers, over the next 10 years or so, I think it cost me around $30 to $50 million. That's what it cost me. So the reason I say that to you is that you need to be really sure, okay, that you're truly ready to stop and get out of the field, because when you do, it's really hard to get back in and re-enter the field. I'm telling you, it's not easy to do. And so you have to be very, very careful about that, because right now what I'm doing is I'm totally focused on getting my base shop going. Because you got to remember, when you get out of the field, that you're the best at what you do in your business, in your base shop. So when you stop training people less competent than you are going to be developing your business. You got to be ready for that, because your business isn't going to be as good. It just isn't. Okay? So you got to take advantage of the moment. Right? I am right now. I'm really focused. My base shop, I did about $25,000 in premium, 22 recruits last month. I did $900,000 in total securities. That would be variable annuities and regular mutual funds. I did $1.4 million in closed funded smart. Had 2 regional leaders that made over $10,000 last month. And folks, I'm going to build a $50,000 to $100,000 base shop, and I'm going to create that 50 first. My goal, I'm saying this public out loud to you, that I will not let up on my base shop till I have 50 first-generation RVPs. Because what's happened is my first-generation RVPs, and this is going to happen to you, and this is not a condemnation. This is not a negative thing. I'm not frustrated by it. I'm not upset. I'm not even disappointed. Okay, but your people will get tired at some point. It's not a matter of if they'll get tired. It's when they'll get tired. Your directs will get tired. All right. So I've been around a long time. So my direct first generation RVPs, they're tired. They don't have the same kind of energy they used to have. How I know that? Just I watch their personal productivity. I watch what they're doing. They just don't have it like they used to. Not that they can't have it again, but they don't now. And so for me, right, for me to accomplish what I want to accomplish, because I am going to make $1 million a month this thing, but I can't do that unless I get, my first generations up to 50, and I'm going to do that. The only way I can do that is I got to build a big base again and have an RVP factory, and that's the truth for you as well. And that's a decision you're going to have to make or not make. The decision has a repercussion. It has an outcome. You need to decide. I know what I'm going to decide, and I know what's going to happen when it's already starting to happen, but it's going to get more exciting. And you know what? I'm having more fun doing it. I'm really having fun. Got some really great people in my base shop. I'm recruiting some great people, and it's, we're going to have a ball with this thing. And I just suggest you take advantage of this moment. We've not had a moment like this since probably 1987, 86, 87, 88. Back at that time, it was a magical time in our business. Folks, we have that same time again right now. And some of you are going to look back 5 years from now, and you're going to go, God, I'm so glad I got after it. I'm so glad I just got busy. I started hiring directs and, got wide in my base shop and produced a bunch of first-generation RVPs, and at least I got to senior NSD. And some of you aren't going to do it, and that's just a sad reality. And you're going to look back 5 years from now, and and you're going to have less energy 5 years from now than you have right now, and you're going to be kicking yourself. You say, man, if I just would have listened to Hector, if I just would have done it, I'd be making, twice, 3, 4, 5 times as much. I would be having, way more options, a way better quality of life. I'd be able to help way more people. And you're going to have one of those two conversations with yourself 5 years from now. I hope you make the right decision for yourself, and do it. You don't have to do it for me. God knows that. I don't need you to do it. Think about yourself. So look, one of the things I've discovered is people overestimate what they can do in 1 year. Because you might look at this and you might think, well, I can get this happening, the next year if I really get focused. Well, don't look at it like that. People overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they drastically underestimate what they can do in 3 to 5 years by working every day at the right things, constantly improving, constantly prospecting, getting better. Okay? In a year, you're going to get some momentum going. But see, don't get too disillusioned if it doesn't go like you like it to go. Think in terms of 3 to 5 years, and think in terms of being consistent every day. Don't go on a run I'm going to work really hard for the next 90 days. I never did runs. I never did 90-day runs and got focused. The way I built my business is I just went, I'm going to day in, day out, month in, month out, week in, week out. I'm going to do the right things every day, and I know over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I'm going to build a great business. That way you don't get tired. That way you don't burn yourself out. You just develop the discipline to do the right things consistently, okay? What no one does in Primerica is stay consistent over extended periods of time. That's why hardly anybody does well here. And a lot of you on the phone, you do runs. You get all excited. You get all pumped up. You work really hard. You push, and then you get things going. And then we don't see you. You fall off the radar for 3 or 4 months. And then now you got to start over again. And you're up and down, and it's just a dumb way to build business. It's like dieting. It's like yo-yo dieting, where you diet really hard and you eat really good and you exercise, and then 2 months you eat like a pig and you don't exercise, and then you gained 10 or 15 or 20 pounds back. Then you got to start over. That's not a healthy way to live. That's dumb. Be consistent to have a great, healthy life forever. You got to do that stuff consistently, all in moderation. So, look, it's just, you can create any situation, right? Any situation you want. When I first started in the business, and I think a lot of times, people forget this, look at where I'm at right now, and things are going really great. But when I started the business, when I decided to go full-time, I had a fine chocolate store. I mean, you've heard this story before. I want to say it again because I think sometimes people forget. And you think I've not been where you are right now. You think, well, it's easy for Hector to say he's making $300,000 a month, he's financially independent, and plays golf every day, and yeah, it's really easy for him to say all this stuff. But look, I've been where you're at, okay? I've been there. When I first got started in the business, I had a candy store. Jan and I, before Primerica, we went into partnership with this couple that owned manufactured fine chocolate. We opened a store in Westwood. I borrowed $20,000 in credit cards to start this business. This was like 1983. And we started that business, and our partner was the manufacturer. They put up the chocolate, I put up the money to get the business going. It cost me about $800 or $900 a month to service it. I put it on credit cards. I had no money then, okay, no cash. All the money I had was in 401, like a 401k, my retirement, and I wasn't going to take that out, so I borrowed the money. So what happened when I found Primerica, and I saw that I could do a lot better in Primerica than I could in this candy store. So I went to my partner and I asked them if they would buy out my interest. They said, yeah, for sure, because they thought the business was doing well. And what ended up happening, at that point, I was still a rep. I decided to quit my job I was in the jewelry business still. I was making about $50,000 a year because they were going to pay me my money to pay off my credit card. So I quit my job, and then the day came for them to give me my $20,000 to pay off my credit cards, right? And they didn't pay me. And then I had to sue them for the money. It took 3 years. So now 3 years go by, all the legal fees, all the trauma of that, that $20,000 seemed like $20 million at that time. Plus, it ended up being about $40,000 over time with legal fees and interest and all that. And then at 3 years of the suit, I won the suit, and they filed bankruptcy, and they never paid me a dime. And that's how I got started in Primerica. That was my start. I went full-time, quit my job. I was a rep. I was a sales leader. I quit my job, and I went, oh my God, what am I going to do here, right? I quit my job. They didn't pay me the money. That debt that I was servicing was like another house payment for me. Like now I'm making 2 house payments. Jan is like totally stressed out, right? She's going psychotic because, she was really worried about the money. And so I had an option, right? You have, like some of you might be in a place like that, or have been in a place like that, or things aren't going like you'd like them to go. Well, let me just tell you, the key to everything is not what's happening to you. It's your reaction. My reaction was to go prospect like a crazy lunatic, okay? I started calling everybody, doing everything, looking under rocks, calling everybody I knew, getting referrals. And what happened, that month that happened, I wrote 24 personal sales, and the next month I wrote 35 personal sales. I recruited a bunch of people, and I got my business going. And I made enough money to service that debt. I made $35,000 and $86,000, which today, by the way, with the new compensation, would have been $250,000. Made $409,000 the next year, which today's compensation would be over $1 million. My 5th year, I made $855,000, which today's compensation would be $2 million. There's a bunch of you right now that if you do what I did, Eddie, Chris, whoever, right, if you do what I did, build a base shop like I built, recruited like I recruited, built a team like I built, that you could go in 36 to 48 to 50 months to $2 million in income. It's absolutely 100% doable. But if you're not consistent, which is really what I was, it ain't going to happen. You can do it. It's doable today. It's absolutely doable. You can create any situation you decide to. The opportunity is here. It's better than it's ever been. I don't feel sorry for any of you, but I feel excited for you, especially if you seize the moment. Some of you are still like living in the past, complaining that your upline doesn't pay enough attention to you, looking for reasons why you're not doing it, making excuses, whatever, okay? Stop it. Would you stop it and grow up and just get your butt to work and start doing what you need to do? Just do it, It's time. It's time. Look, never been better than it is right now. It's an awesome time in Primerica. I am completely committed to leading from the front. I'm working very hard to get better right now. I'm totally focused on that right now. I'm doing some stuff to get better. I'm working on right now that I think is going to have huge impact in our business. And I want you to know you've got a leader, a teammate in me that you can count on, that you can take to the bank. I will not let you down. I will not. I'm going to get better. I'm going to keep bringing value to the table. I'm going to grow my base shop. I'm going to be a personal example. You can count on that. All I'm asking you, as you think and you consider, that you be that way with your people. That you be, the best leader that you can be. And you're not going to do that sitting on your rear end, not doing what you need to do. They need an example. They're dying to have leadership. They're dying to have their leader be somebody they want to emulate. They need that. Don't be pawning them off on somebody else, right? You don't need somebody else. They need you, okay? Just like your kids don't need somebody else in their life to be their father or mother or example. They need you to be the example. Your people need you to be the example, all right? It's time to grow up. It's time to take responsibility. It's time to get it done, all right?
I just wanted to share with you before we leave today, I'm not stopping too soon. The reason I wanted to share this with you is because I think I stopped too soon. And I don't want you to make the mistake I made. Even though I've done very well, I really believe I stopped too soon. I actually got talked into thinking that the way you get once you get to a certain point, that you've got a lot of people, your time's more valuable, spending time with your guys and stuff like that, and not focusing on hiring directs and getting wider and building a base shop. I got talked into that, okay? That was the single biggest, most tragic mistake I made in my business career, right there. That I ever stopped focusing on prospecting and recruiting directs and training those people and getting them going was the dumbest thing. It cost me a fortune, an absolute fortune. Even though I've done very well, I think it's cost me millions, and tens of millions of dollars, probably $100, $200, $300 million over my career. I think that's going to end up costing me, and which means I don't need the money. But you know what? I'm at the stage of my life now where I'm starting to give money away. See, because I have more than I need, and I'm giving a lot of money away today. If I made a lot more money, guess what I can do? I could give a lot more money away. So that really is the biggest problem. I'm not going to do much more. My lifestyle is exactly like I like it. I don't need anything else. But a bunch of people, because I stopped out there that I don't even know, are not going to benefit because I stopped too soon. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the tragic mistakes. So the ultimate goal is total financial independence. Stopping before attaining this goal is just not a smart move, okay? It's a dumb. I see so many people in my business and throughout Primerica that get it going, they start having success, they start making some money, and then they stop doing the fundamentals, and they cripple themselves, It's just a really sad situation. I think people stop too soon because they aren't clear about their ultimate goal, and they don't have a clear purpose. And I think that's the biggest mistake, is that there's no sense of purpose. And you look at, how could Chris, who's actually been in the business longer than me, right, Chris? All right, and he's still passionate right now. It's really exciting. And he's done okay financially. I'm sure he saved some money and he's okay. But he hasn't made big money. But he's still after it. He's still, look what he's doing right now, right? And you guys are getting tired just listening to him, right? Let alone doing what he's doing. But the reason is that he has a sense of purpose as opposed to a goal. That's why he's able to keep his energy level up, his activity so high, is he has a sense of purpose of what he's trying to do. One of his purposes is to eradicate, before he's done, cash value life insurance. I mean, he really feels that. I could see that. It wasn't just a speech he was giving. He really hates it, And he sees what's happening there, and it's really important to him to help those people. Well, when you have that kind of purpose, when's that ever going to happen? Like never, right? I mean, that's a never-ending process right there. That thing, you could do that do it every day, 24/7, and probably never happen. So that's the difference between a purpose and a goal. A goal is something that ultimately can happen, and you reach, and it's done, and then, you set another goal. But a purpose is something that there's no end. Like my purpose is to help people with their self-image. Why I'm tough on people, why I'm always pushing you to personal development, why I'm trying to get you to do more, is because I know when you do those things, your self-image will improve. I know it, because it's happened to me. I know if I'm on it, I'm working hard, I'm working on developing myself personally, my self-image is really good. And when I'm not doing that, it isn't. And it's the same for you too, and I know that. And that's why I push you to do that. Even though sometimes some of you have been around me a long time, you get sick and tired of hearing me say all this stuff over and over and over again. And the reason I say it over and over and over again is because I still don't have hardly anybody doing it. And I'm going to keep saying it. And that's one thing you know about me, is I'm consistent. I don't deviate. And that's one of the keys to the success I've had, is my consistency and not deviating from that main thing, which is the personal development and growing as a person, which is today is about too, is to help you grow, right? I think the third thing is people lack a clear, concise plan. A lot of you are teaching a lot of different things, and every week it's a different thing, and you think that if I don't change things, my people will get bored and they'll quit, so let me try a new way of approaching it, and right? That's what you do. I see you guys doing it. Oh, let me get on my computer and come up with a new presentation, a new thing, and you're doing all this stuff, okay, which is the stupidest thing ever, all right? And really, this is kind of what you should be doing, keeping it really, really simple, like this. Because you know why? Because you have a big attrition. Most of the people in your base shop are new, haven't been in business very long, and you need to keep repeating yourself over and over. The reason I repeat myself is because I know that most of the people in my business are new. And I'm not appealing to the guy that's been around for a year and a half or 3 years and hasn't got off his ass. Okay? That's not who I'm going to appeal to. That's not who I'm directing my focus on. That person I can't help anymore. They've been around 18 months and they're not working. I can't help him or her. But I can help that new person that'll pay attention, that's still coachable. Right? I can help that person, so I'm going to stay on the basics, because what do they need? They need the basics. Okay, so these basics like that, I have the same thing. One, the plan is this. Everything, I said this, if you were at, how many were at Maxwell? Okay, all right, most of you, so you're going to hear it again, all right? Because you can't hear this enough. It's prospecting. And let me repeat what I said about that. Prospecting is talking to anyone in any form, okay? That could be in person, on a phone, an email, it doesn't matter how you contact them, right? With the goal of setting an appointment to share how you can help them by recruiting or implementing an F&A. What he does with the beneficiaries, that is prospecting. That's what that is. Okay, that's another form of prospecting. I think it's the easiest form of prospecting probably ever devised by man in this business. It's phenomenal. I wish I would have thought of that. That's incredible to do that, right? All that is prospecting. That's all it is. What is it? It is talking to somebody with the goal of setting an appointment to share with them how you can help them by either recruiting or implementing F&A, right? They don't know that when you call. They think you're just going to talk to them about what's going to happen for them. But that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is you're going to share what you do, right? That's all it is. 3 hours of prospecting is more important than any one client, prospect, recruit, or problem. Let me say that again. 3 hours of prospecting is more important than any one client, any prospect, any recruit, or any problem you're dealing with. It's simply the single most important thing in your business, period. A lot of you spend a lot of time on those things. You spend time on this client or the prospect or the recruit or a problem. And if you spent more time prospecting, it's way more important. It's how you grow your business. Plus, if you don't get your people, if you don't have a prospecting mentality within your base shop where people are thinking about prospecting, where you as a leader are not constantly talking about it and explaining it and teaching it and doing it, you're never going to get them to be successful, because if they don't prospect, they're not going to succeed here. You know it and I know it. Okay? So the more we avoid it, the more we lessen the chances for our people to become successful, including ourselves. Okay? This is almost everyone you ever prospect in your life. You should write this down. A, doesn't recognize that you're the doctor. This is almost everyone that you're ever going to prospect in your life. They don't realize that you're the doctor. Steve Cross, when you set up an appointment with somebody about mutual funds, before they meet you, they don't recognize that you're the doctor and you have all the answers to the issues, do they? Right? That's why people sometimes avoid you or put you off or give you objections, because they don't recognize, John, that you're the doctor. Okay? B, doesn't know, the prospect doesn't know that he or she is sick. Right? You ever sit down with people, they're like hemorrhaging and they don't even know they're sick? You ever look at their financial situation, right? They're total hemorrhaging and they don't even know they're sick. C, they know he or she is sick, but they don't really want to get better. You ever had anybody like that? They know they're sick, but they don't really want to get better. A lot of your recruits are like that, by the way. They know they're sick, they're broke, they're starving, they've got kinds of problems, and they don't want to do anything to get better, right? D, they think there's a cheaper way to get better than by hiring you. They think there's a better way, like their job, right? Or like their current life insurance agent or whatever. They think there's a better or cheaper way than by hiring you. Okay, your case has to be more compelling than their case in order to get them over to your way of thinking. What you present has to be more compelling to them than what they present to you in order for them to go ahead with you. The good news is that that's a small minority. Even though it's a small minority of people that are going to recognize that you're the doctor, those small minority are the people that are going to help you become really successful in your business. I look at my business. You look at my numbers this month, right? How many of you would like to have a business that looks like mine? Okay. 319,000 in income last month. Almost 50 million in smart, 16 and 17 million in loans, 2.5 million in premium, almost like right at 2,000 recruits. Well, let me just show you, which is really exciting. I did that essentially. That all started. I have 15 direct RVPs. All that's from 15 people. Huh? Yes. 15. Not 1,500. 15. Didn't start 15. Started like at 25 or 30, and a bunch of people quit. Okay. Okay. Appointments, the second thing you have to have, you have prospecting 1, 2 is appointment setting. You've got to get really good at that. That is really important. The 3 is having a question and commitment-oriented proposal or presentation. It's got to be like values-based selling where you're getting commitments. Even Chris mentioned that. It's got to be question-oriented and commitment-oriented. You can't just have your people regurgitating a bunch of information to the potential recruiter client. They've got to be asking questions and getting commitments. Without asking questions and getting commitments, they're not going to get results. You sit down with your people and you find they're just regurgitating information, they're just saying stuff to the people, but they're not getting commitments, they're never going to be successful here. So you've got to make sure you do that. 4, you've got to duplicate by transferring your knowledge and skills clearly. The meaning of your communication is the response you get, regardless of your intention. So if you're not getting, it doesn't matter what your intention is, it only matters what the response is, right? The response is what's important, and how we know what our meaning is by the response we get. If people are joining us, doing business with us, getting involved with us, we know that our meaning is coming across clearly. If they're not joining us, if they're not doing business with us, what do we know? Whatever we're trying to get across is not coming across clearly. That's what it means. Okay? If your people are out there going on lots of appointments, no sales, no recruits, nothing's happening, but they're seeing people, guess what's happening? They're not, the meaning of the intention of what they're saying is not what it needs to be. It needs to be fixed. Okay? It's all it means. Okay? 5, field train. It's the best way to clone yourself. I'm telling you, as Chris is going forward, he needs to be paying like mega attention to explaining to the new recruit that he's out there field training exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it. The more attention he pays to that right now, the more focused he is on that. He already knows he's going to close a sale. That's a done deal. He has to be thinking every minute of that presentation and every minute afterwards that he spends time with that person, how he can get that new person to understand and to be able to do that presentation and do what he does exactly, not almost exactly, but exactly like he does. The more energy he invests in that, the more energy he invests in becoming clear in that, his business will explode if he does that now. He already has this awesome system. How much more awesome is 60 sales in the last 90 days? Right? I mean, my gosh, you don't need a lot of people in your base shop doing anything close to that to explode. Right? But unless he teaches them and tests them to make sure they're doing it like him, he's not going to have that. And see, that's true for all of you, okay? And then 6 is recruit. That's just, you just got to start recruiting. You got to make recruiting the focus of the business. I like that he changed that values-based recruiting. Not selling, but recruiting. You're not going to grow your business. You by yourself, you're just never going to make anything exciting happen in your business. You got to have a lot of people, okay? Hey, I got 2,000 new recruits last month. 20% of 2,000 is 400 pretty damn good people in there somewhere in my business, right? Think about that. Last month I got 400 really good people in my business last month. That's exciting, okay? So when I get that to 3,000 or 4,000 a month, right? 4,000 a month is 800 new good people. What is that going to mean to my business? Huh? It's unbelievable. You think I'm doing well right now. You watch what's going to happen. It's going to go crazy. So you could say, well, what you're doing is so far away. Look, I started one step at a time. The only reason I'm where I'm at right now is I've done a better job than most of you at staying focused day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, and year in and year out than you have. That's the difference. I never closed that many sales like that consistently. I never did that. The key for me was the consistency with which I did it. Not the volume. I did great volume, but my consistency was my key, okay? Okay, treat the process like a game. Realize that all the things you have to do and endure are only a means to an end. Don't take them personally and don't make them bigger than they are because they're temporary. All this stuff that we're saying you got to do this, you're looking at it like it's a big old giant mountain you have to climb. Well, it's not. It's all temporary, okay? It really is. You don't have to do all this hard work forever. You just got to do it for a period of time to create a base and a basis for having a great business, whatever time that is for you. All right? The Ramirez are just getting started right now. Look, you got to hump it like that for the next 5 or 6 or 7 years. But then when that's done, if you do things right, you're done. You're done. You can become a teacher, right? Work closely with the motivated, the 20%. Everyone else help them through the meetings, okay? The ones that you personally invest your life into, okay, they need to be the top 20%ers. Armando, they got to be the top 20%. Now, who are the motivated? They attend all the meetings. They're here, all right? They're not here. I ain't working with them personally, closely, okay? It's just that simple. If you don't value your time, they're not going to value your time, okay? 2, they ask questions about how to get better constantly. They're always calling you, asking questions. Well, how can I do this? Hector, what should I do here? How can I, you have anybody like that in your team? Those are the 20%ers. They're always asking how they can get better. 3, they're coachable. They follow your instructions and recommendations. If you tell them to listen to a tape, if you tell them to read a book, if you tell them to do anything, right? You tell them to go to Maxwell, they do it. They do it. They don't do it. If you're recommending things and then they don't do it, that tells you what? This is not an individual that you want to be spending a lot of time with because they don't follow your instructions. If they don't follow your instructions, there's nothing you can do for them, right? 4, they consistently bring new people to the op meetings. They're just always bringing new people. Because they really understand the importance of bringing new people. 5, they get results. Recruits and sales. They get results. They make things happen. You know, you have some people in your business that are just doggone results oriented. You know, they just you hire all these people and then you find a person that they get results. You know what I mean? That person or those persons, you better be, even if you don't like them that much, you better become their best friend, okay? You better just really formulate a relationship with them, okay? You got to do that. Number 6, they search out information on their own to learn about our services and improve their skills. You have anybody like that that's looking up stuff, trying to get better? They go to they just get their securities license and you tell them you need to contact all the mutual funds and have them send you their starter kits, and they actually do it and they actually read all this stuff. You know what I mean? Ever have anybody like that? Like Mike Mendoza, that was Mike, right? When Mike got his securities license, I tell him, call all the mutual fund companies, get all their starter stuff, and guess what he did? He got them all. He's an expert. He sought it out. Okay? They're accountable to you. They call to report their activity and results consistently. They're calling you to tell you what they're doing. They call you, hey, I had 2 appointments today, or I got all blown out, but you know what? I prospected, and they're doing whatever. They're calling you. They're letting you know they're serious. They push you to get better. They push you to get better. You want people to push you to get better, to force you to be better than you would be otherwise, right? Rick Susie forced me to get better. In order for me to stay ahead of him, I had to get better for him to want my leadership. You know? They are competitive. Winning is very important to them. They're really competitive. Those are the top 20%. By working directly with the motivated, you will not get tired. In fact, you'll be energized. The opposite will happen. You won't be tired. It's like thrilling to work with exciting new people, man. It's just a blast, right? Be super clear, teaching exactly what you do to create the results. Test people constantly to ensure they know what you've taught them. I'm going to keep saying that until you start doing it, because when you start doing that consistently, every day, every week, you're testing all the time. Whenever you're on the phone with somebody, you're testing them. Hey, when somebody tells you, I want to think it over, what do you say? Just test people all the time. Just test them. Make sure they know what they're doing, okay? Constantly, every chance you get. You should never have a conversation, whether you're downline, that you don't throw a testing question at them to see if they're competent, all right? Should always be doing that. Check the motivated people skills level one-on-one. Be certain their skill level is good. The motivated ones, you got to meet with them one-on-one, okay? Once you have checked a person's skill level and you're certain that they're as good as you are, you have then duplicated yourself. That's what you've done. Then at that point, there's not much more you can do. They've got to take the ball and run with it. You can't do anything more than that, right? All you can do is prepare them, and then they'll either work or they won't work. Okay? I've got a lot of people that are really skilled. They don't work. I can't do anything about that. I can't motivate them to do anything. True duplication is the real key to building a great business and having real freedom. That you get great at that part of the business will create all that freedom that you want. The single biggest mistake I made in my career was getting out of the field too soon, and I'm going to tell you, look, it has never been more clear than it is right now. I used to have 25 direct RVPs. I was doing $300,000 to $400,000 in premium at first, okay? Now I'm struggling to do 200, right? Because I got a bunch of old, tired RVPs as directs right now. It's the truth. I mean, there's nothing. They're not bad people. They're not terrible. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just tired. They're just tired. I know it. So what does that tell me I have to do? Okay? I got to go produce some more. That doesn't mean I don't love them. I don't care about them. I don't want them to succeed. But you know what? They don't want to succeed as much as I want them to succeed. How do I know that? The results. The behavior. Believe me, that is not a condemnation. That is not a dig. That's not negative. That's not bad. I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. Do I look frustrated? I'm not frustrated. All it tells me, it's feedback to me that says, Hector, you're not wide enough. You need to go hire some more directs. You need to get your base shop going. You need to have some new RVPs, and you need to make sure you do it and you take care of it because you can't count on anybody else. That's all it tells me. Thank God I built a business. I'm doing a bunch of business. I don't have an income problem, okay? But I still recognize that, right? And so, see, if that tells me that, what does that tell you about your situation? Okay? It's just a statement of fact. And so you guys that are directing me, don't take it personally. I don't care what you do. If you're getting what you want, that's great. Wonderful. Okay? There's just more out there. Way more. I was doing 300 to 400 premium. Now I have 15 direct RVPs. I barely did 200. So now I need to get wider. If I would have stayed in the field and recruited and trained more directs, at least 50 direct RVPs, Daniel, okay, I would be doing $750,000 right now instead of the $200,000. That's what I'd be doing at first. Okay? And my income would be 2.5 times more, probably about $600,000 to $700,000 a month. That's what I'd be making right now on my original code. And over the next 10 years, I think that cost me somewhere between 30 and 50 or $60 million. That's what it cost me. Because I could have easily done it. I had momentum. I loved field training people. I was good at it. I loved working with people. I liked doing all that stuff. It wasn't work to me. Field training, recruiting directs, and all that, I never saw it as work. To me, it was a blast. Okay, some of you look at it as work, which is your biggest problem. I never looked at it that way. I looked at it like a means to an end, and I enjoyed the process. I love recruiting new people. I got very selective about who I worked with, so I didn't work with flaky people, and I didn't go on a bunch of dark house appointments. I only worked with. I got in a position where I was bringing so many people on board that I could be very, very selective, and I cherry picked and only worked with the people that had the best warm markets, the most credibility, and so my results were really fabulous. I guarantee you Chris is in a position where he's able to do that now, right? Because you got so many people, you could be really selective. That's how you're able to get such a high ratio, right? Daniel's doing the same thing right now, okay? So be sure you're truly ready to stop when you stop, because when you do, it's very difficult to re-enter the field. It's really hard. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you that have kind of checked out and you kind of just do it's hard to get back. So you better be done when you quit. Done. Remember that you're the best at what you do in your business, so when you stop training people, less competent people than you will be developing your business. That's what's going to happen. When you stop, the people that are going to be training, developing, and growing your business internally are less competent than you. So you better be where you want to be when you stop. Take advantage of the momentum. Right now, look, this is what I'm looking at. I'm taking advantage of this because there's a lot of momentum right now. Working hard with my base shop. I will get my base shop cranking up. I guarantee you that. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I am going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. It's already moving in the right direction. It's not going like it's going to go, but it's going in the right direction. We have lots of momentum, all right? And that momentum I created that momentum with my activity and my actions and my behavior. It wasn't like I didn't just like wish it into place. I started doing things, okay? Acting on it, being more focused, holding people accountable. I got a bunch of people in my accountability thing. And a lot of them are doing well, and a lot of them aren't doing that well. But you know what? There's a lot of more accountability. I'm doing more training. I'm really teaching people. I'm focused on that. I'm really engaged with these people. I'm talking to all my key people almost daily. And we're talking about what to do and how to do it, and I'm helping them with issues and all that stuff. I'm in it. I'm engaged, right? Are you engaged? So last month we did $25,000 in life premium, 22.5 recruits. We had about 500 some thousand in regular securities, about another almost 450,000 in variable annuities, about 900,000 total securities volume, 1.4 million in smart closed and funded, and I had 2 regional leaders that made over 11 grand last month in my base shop. I had 2 regional leaders that made more money than a lot of you RVPs. Because you know what I focus on? I'll teach my people how to make money. Because people don't quit when they make money. Okay? You better be teaching people how to make money. Okay? People overestimate what they can do in 1 year because a lot of you get overwhelmed, okay? Don't worry about this next year. This next year is your formula. You're setting the foundation, Frank, okay? That's what you're doing right now. So this is, you're going to bust your rear end and it's going to grow and you're going to do better, but it's not going to be where you want it to be. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to overestimate what you're going to do in the first year and drastically underestimate what you can do in 3 to 5 years. When I started the business, folks, that year that I started the business, actually when I went full time, I've heard this story, but I just want to make sure you understand, because sometimes you look at my situation now and you go, well, he's doing so well. It's easy for him to say that. He doesn't have any problems and he makes a lot of money. And hey, wake up. That's not the way it started for me. Okay? When I went full time and quit my job, I had a partner in a fine candy store. I invested $20,000 to start this little business, right? Put it on credit cards. My payments were like $800 or $900 a month. I was going to sell my interest out to my partner so I could go full-time in Primerica. So I quit my $50,000 a year job. This was a lot of money back then, right? This was like in 84. Quit my job. Supposed to get the money from my partner. They don't pay me. I have to start suing them, right? 3 years later, after 3 years of legal battle with these people, right? I win the lawsuit and all the legal fees, right? I win the lawsuit. They file bankruptcy. I don't get a dime. That's how I started in Primerica. I quit my job as a rep. I wasn't even a district leader then. And that's how I started. My first month after this happened, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now, right? Because I got this extra house payment, essentially at that time, $800 a month was like could have been $80,000 a month, right? I mean, it was huge to me at that point, right? Jan is like going psycho on me, right? Because she's just like so upset about it, right? To her, that was like, it wasn't 20,000, it was 20 million. You know what I'm talking about at that point? You ever been in a place like that? It was like, and so what do? I could either fold my tent, give up. The next month, I write 24 personal sales. The following month, I write 33 personal sales, and I got the business rocking. I was prospecting, making calls from the minute I got up to the minute I went to bed. I was turned over rocks. I did whatever it took to create activity, to create business, to get my business going. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. That was the best thing that ever happened. Like he says, that tragedy, which seemed like it at the time, was a tragedy, right? It wasn't a tragedy. It was the best thing that ever happened to me because it showed me what I could do if I got focused. That's what it showed me. So if your back's to the wall right now, hey, prospect. Make some calls. Get out of your house. Go talk to somebody. Create it. Don't wait for it to come to you. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Get busy. So I made 18 grand, 35, 86, would have made 250 today. Made 409, would have been $1 million. Made 855, would have been $2 million. There's a bunch of you in the room right now that could go to $1 million in income in the next 24, 36, 48 months with almost no difficulty if you could just manage yourself every day. If you just got focused on growing your business and putting your energy and being creative of how to get more people involved and how to get better and doing more. Instead of doing whatever it is that you do with your time all day. I don't know what you do, right? Well, I've got to have some time. Well, for what? Get it over with. Just do it. Stop thinking about it. Because you can create any situation you decide. The opportunity is here. It's better than ever. I don't feel sorry for any of you. I feel excited for you. That you have a moment that you can seize. You shouldn't forget about feeling sorry for yourself anymore, okay? Nobody cares how you feel anyways. Have you noticed that yet in your life? You guys are old enough that nobody gives a crap what you feel like, okay? Just care about the results. Grow up and understand that and then get busy. And go make it happen and do something great. And let's go. Look, our base shops in our hierarchy right now are pitiful, okay? Especially on my side of the hierarchy. Rick at least has some people that are serious right now, right? My side of the hierarchy, we got some talented people in our side of the hierarchy that should be having 40 and 50 and 60,000 hour base shots, and we suck. You know, and I'm going to be the first one to admit I suck, right? I'm doing something about it. How about you? We'll see you next time.